So I'm here with this man. Took me about 30 minutes to get his name right. So Dejan here is a person I respect a lot because he gave us a ride last convention, and also because because he's an amazing artist on the Japanese side. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Patrick.
If people go on your Instagram, where they can find you? What's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram is my name and last name, so Dejan Furlan.
Okay, I'll write that into the description.
Yeah,
there.
most people can't pronounce my name properly.
Yeah.
Most people say Dejan.
Yes, that's what I was going for.
And it's Dejan.
Okay, and a little bit of your background. I mean, it's not a usual name for Canadians. So where are you from originally?
I was born on the border between Italy and ex-former Yugoslavia in the 80s, and then in the 90s there was a big war on our border, 10-year war. Where Yugoslavia split up in different countries. Now you have Slovenia, Croatia, Bosnia, Serbia, Macedonia, Montenegro. So nowadays I would be from the border between Italy and Slovenia.
So you'll be on no man's land.
No man's land, yeah. It's crazy.
So
the country you're from, it doesn't exist anymore.
No, that's true. That's
crazy.
right. They changed name and everything.
Yeah.
So have you ever went back there?
Yes, I went back to visit my mom and dad every year. I'm a good boy, trying to,
That's good,
I lived abroad for 20 years.
Yeah.
I lived between Spain and Mexico in my 20s, and then in my late 20s I moved to Vancouver. Fell in love with Canada, especially Vancouver, because it felt like it was a place for everybody.
Yes.
And I was struggling with my identity.
Okay.
And in Vancouver, I felt it was like a place for everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone had a chance.
So in your 20s, were you into tattooing at that time?
I started tattooing at the age of 15.
15?
Yes. So yeah, in my early 20s, I already was tattooing professionally in a shop. In my late 20s, I was already like 12,
was that
13 years
in Croatia? Slovenia?
I started tattooing in Italy, and then I became a tattooer in Barcelona.
Okay.
And then from Barcelona I moved to Mexico, where I actually became like that was like my job.
Okay.
And then when I arrived in Canada, I saw how behind I was and how ahead you guys were of things.
So that was in 2000?
2008.
In 8, okay.
2008.
So tattooing was like the new wave of tattooing at that time.
Yes,
So-
I mean 2008 is when like all the tattoo TV shows
Yes.
came out. I think around 2005.
2000, yeah.
And like became mainstream, and I never heard of people being booked up for like 6 months in advance until I arrived in Vancouver, and then there was people like Steve Moore, or they were booked up forever. And it's like, is that even possible?
Yes, on the West Coast only.
Yeah. And nowadays that's where I'm at. I'm lucky that I'm booked up like several months in advance,
Right.
usually.
So you've been at it for a long time.
Yeah.
Your tattoos are up to par. Why did you go into the Japanese aspect of things?
My mom bought me a book on Horiyoshi when I was 16 years old.
16.
Yeah, my mom, it was the 90s, but she was a great supporter of what I was doing.
Okay.
And she was open-minded lady, and
Marvelous.
she bought me a book on Horiyoshi that was written by an Italian guy, Gian Maurizio Farcioni, which is an Italian tattoo historian.
Okay.
And he met Horiyoshi Yoshito Nakano in the 90s, and he made this book on him, and that was my first reference.
Amazing.
And-
That's truly amazing.
Yeah.
Whew. So like we just talked about 20 years here of your career, right? So like I mean, you're like I was saying, you're up to par, but what's next? Like what would be next for you?
What's next? Maybe moving away from Canada.
Oh yeah?
Like I would like a new season of my life. But maybe not away from Canada, maybe away from Vancouver.
Okay, yeah. Well,
I've been in the same place for too long.
you can be in Canada and travel 3 countries, weather-like. You know?
Yeah, but what's next? That's a good question. I'm back in convention now. That's something that I stopped a few years back.
Okay.
About 3 years ago, I apprenticed my wife, Jasmine, and that kind of like got me into this idea that I want to show myself again.
Yes.
And be present in the industry.
Okay.
Since I was going to convention very sporadically. I would like people to remember who I am, so I'm trying to do all the conventions.
Make a name.
Yeah, make a name, you know.
Well,
I'm not getting any younger.
I got your name, so that's good.
Thank you.
So is it your first time in Saskatoon?
First time in Saskatoon.
Oh, really? So I was going to ask you what you like about Saskatoon, but
I haven't seen Saskatoon.
You haven't seen it.
What I like about a convention is that every single tattooer is tattooing.
True that.
You have some conventions where there's a lot of people walking around and a lot of tattooers just not doing anything.
True.
And here, everyone is tattooing.
A lot of buzzing too, eh?
Yes. So it's like the Winnipeg show.
True that.
Everybody's tattooing.
I think the recipe is good. They did a great job.
Whoever organized the convention is doing a very good job with the public.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Seems like a very good public.
It seems like it, and people are actually eager to come in. The lineup was so
huge,
all the way across. So.
Everybody's getting good tattoos.
Yes, true that.
And you can see a tendency to, most people do American traditional.
True.
Most people are looking for they're looking for real tattoos.
That's right.
Yeah, so
I love that, real tattoos.
Yeah.
When we talk about 20 years in the past, we didn't see any Darth Vader tattoos. We didn't see any popsicle tattoos. Nowadays there's those little things, which are nice, but when you go into a deep learning into Japanese, let's say, it's an all different story, right? All the rules and everything.
You have to put your ego on the side. You have to put your personality on the side, especially at the beginning. Learn the rules, learn the families, how different families would do the wave or the background or the clouds. And
craziness.
You kind of have to pick one family and learn their way of doing it. But of course, this is North America, so we Americanize everything, right? So we have our own version of doing
the style of.
Yes. I don't consider myself Canadian, but I'm very Canadianized after 15 years, right?
100%.
Yeah.
100%. So we talked about many things. What would be your secret weapon you have in your tattoo case?
My secret weapon, I think, my mileage. My mileage, the fact that I've been tattooing for so long, and I had the opportunity to work in many different styles. I started with what I thought it was American traditional, then I realized it wasn't. It was more of like a neo-traditional, because being from Europe, my ideas about American traditional were a little weird. So in my career, I did American traditional, neo-traditional, black work, and finally Japanese that I wanted to do my whole life, but you need a solid clientele that trusts you in order to get those huge tattoos.
True, because the small ones, they're not that, they're nice, but they're not like a bodysuit. I went to China, right, and that's where I fell in love with bodysuits, because they had portfolio of, the tattoo had a portfolio, and there were people just leaning like this on table, backing people, full in tons, I was like, wow, that's how I decided to get it back.
That's the next level.
So one last question before we go is, what would be your take and suggestion to a person who starts tattooing?
Get a proper apprenticeship. Don't worry about your own style, because your own style will come out by working a lot. It's inevitable that your style will come out at one point. When I was learning, a very old tattooer told me, stop drawing and start copying. Especially if you want to do Japanese, you are not Japanese. You should copy a lot until you learn the way they do the things, and then you can put a little bit of your taste in it. Until then, you have to open the books and copy until you learn it. And I think that's a little bit shameful to do in North American culture, to copy. But when you get an apprenticeship in Japan, for example, or in Asia, you copy your master for the first few years. You copy all they do. And then when you master the drawing, then it's time to experiment. Experiment is for those who master the technique.
Gotcha.
Until you master the technique, you should just copy what the other guys do and try to perfect that.
That's deep. I like that. I really, truly like that. So you basically said that your mind is your best tool.
Yes.
That's fucking good.
Thank you.
Sorry I swear in front of the camera, but that's fucking good. Thank you.
For the interview, man. Thank you. I appreciate
very
it so
much.
Thank you, man. No worries. No worries. Thank you, Patrick.